మీ ఛాయ్ మా సాయ్ కలిస్తే భలే హాయ్.
Namaskaram. Welcome to our Mahabharata Relevance in Modern Day Life series. We just completed reading the entire Mahabharatam about a month ago. This is going to be the last episode in the current series that we had, and we wanted to share some of the highlights. Before I pass it on to you, Raji, like from my end, I would say that even though of all the 18 parvas, Shanti and Anushasanika parvas have a significant wealth of knowledge for anyone. It is not mini, it is more than an MBA, it is finance management, the list can go on, but you would only gain or you would only appreciate that if you go from the beginning and go through the sequence of the story, because why certain characters behave would be really appreciated if you have the background. Otherwise, sometimes you jump into a case study, even in an MBA case study, right, with little no background, you don't know why one person is behaving like that. So for me, I would say
you can say that, and Shanti and Anushasanika clearly says that, but actually it has every parva had its own kind of importance and significance, and we think that hey, we have learned everything in Shanti and Anushasanika parva, but then in basically Mausala parva or even in Mahaprasthana, every parva has its own significance. So
what are your highlights then?
So, as we already finished reading the Mahabharata, maybe I can pick in the last few parvas, like the Mausala parva. I think most of you may know that. I can say three highlights. For example, if you want to categorize the weather forecasting or crisis management or situational leadership or the communication. See, in Mausala parva, like we have an advanced forecasting system nowadays, and that's what we say. But we were amazed to see and read that in Mausala Parva, they were able to predict and forecast that a city, Dwaraka, is going to get drowned, not only exactly in how many days, but to the hour. And this was a great realization, like they were able to predict that. And then Arjuna was, because he knew that, hey, the city is going to getting drowned in 6 or 7 days, he had to act fast. He was handling it. It was a crisis management, and most of the people in Dwarka died. And he had to do their final rites. And the most sad part is his beloved friend, the kind of celebrated leader in Mahabharata, Krishna's death, and Krishna's brother Balarama's death. He had to find them and do their final rites, where in the place where he found them in forest. Didn't have time to bring them to Dwarka, do the grand final rites. Didn't have that time because his priority on his mind was to save the people, the country. That was his first, because he has only few days. And actually, before doing the final rites of Krishna and Balarama, he gives orders to all the ministers, hey, make sure the whole city, everyone pack all the important things, get ready, and when we say go, you need to be ready to go. That was great. He didn't know when they're going to evacuate. He knew exactly that within 7 days the city is going to be drowned, but he had to do few things. So he just gave that get ready, and perhaps your chance come down. And that's how it happened. So by the time he finished all his final rites and all these other things, it was like midnight, and I'm amazed by his resiliency and persistence. Like he literally the whole day he did rites to the different people of Dwarka. Then his beloved friend Krishna, Balram, is very emotional, depressing, drowning, but he gained his strength, and he was able to keep on going. And during the same night, he had to evacuate. He gave orders, hey, let's all evacuate, because tomorrow Dwarka is going to get drowned. And he was safely able to do that. And he saved many people. And the other part about communication and situation leadership, which I want to touch, is we all feel very sad that, hey, somebody has died. But do we convey that? Is this the right time to convey? And that's what Arjuna did. He felt that I need to move the people to a safe place. So he didn't convey the death of Krishna and Balrama to his immediate family. He did it after they came out of Dwarka into a safe place. That was almost one day later. And which is okay, because at that time, at that situation, that was the right thing to be done. So there's lots of these things you can learn which you feel that, hey, does it make right as part of rituals? Does it make right as part of our religion, dharma? So our dharma religion has that flexibility, has that a freedom, and it gives that people are more important than the rituals are. So there are many examples in Mahabharata where you come across. This is one small thing, but I'm amazed with how Arjuna, of course he did great in the Ashwamedha Yajna Parva also, but it's like he's almost like 59
No,
plus or 60 plus. It's not like a young 30
even
or
when
20.
Mahabharatam happens,
Yeah.
after Mahabharatam, it is like 36 years, right?
Yes.
So they're in late 80s.
Late 80s, and it's not at an young age when he did the Ashwamedha Yajna. That means literally the whole India, and he went around, and even in Mausala Parva. So I can keep on go on talking how great these like different highlights were there. Just want to give you the snippets of this, and hope it gives you the interest to pick a book. And as you mentioned, please book a book in your regional language or Sanskrit if you know, because it's better to read it as it is without much translation, and you're not losing the great content.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of recap the three things that he highlighted, right? Like the weather, or like the forecast was accurate to the hour. Like you said, the geographic area that it is going to get impacted because the city is going to be drowned. So that amazes me that we lost that wealth of knowledge and we literally have to reinvent. We have come far and we have gained a lot of such knowledge back, but we have to reinvent it. The crisis management part really amazes me, the presence of mind, and even though one is in the saddest moment of their life, how to conduct, how to compose, and how to act.
Like a leader.
Like a leader. And that leadership is, like we talked about communication, crisis management, is to save the people, save the country, and take care of the broader good, not to celebrate and feel sorry about or communicate to the family of your beloved friend. They don't even communicate to the wife of Krishna and Balrama. That's what you highlighted is. So that really shows that Mahabharatam and the Sanatana Dharma really put people and broader good and society at first, and as the kings, they were accountable leaders. They really saw, that's why you can really see that, right? When we reflected several times that Mahabharata, Dharmaraja feels and he understands the responsibility. That's why he says that I'm not really interested in. But they say that the person who is most responsible and who understands the responsibility should be the one to be crowned. So for me, if you say that a takeaway.
Do you want to touch the myths also, some of the myths?
Yeah, there are some myths, right? Like Pandu means he has a skin disease, that's a myth. Arjuna is white, no. There are 4 black people, dark skinned people in Mahabharata, like they are referred to as Krishna. Krishna Dvaipayana, the Rishi Vyasa who wrote Mahabharata, Krishna is dark skinned, Panchali is dark skinned, and Arjuna is dark skinned. Whereas the portrayal really is not fair representation. And the biggest myth is men don't cry. Arjuna really cries, but he is able to pull himself back. And whereas you also say that women don't have leadership, women have leadership. And the last part I wanted to say is transition of power is so gracefully handled when Pandavas decide that they are going to get onto this Mahaprasthana. They will identify the next successor and they would identify a mentor, and that mentor is a woman. Subhadra is identified as someone who can give the guidance and then lead the country ahead. They had such a faith in her skills and leadership. All the Pandavas were able to really depart, leaving that succession in her hands. So these are the myths to be really busted in your mind, right? But most important is, again we will emphasize, please take up reading. We had so many great conversations from friends, family, and even professionally when we spoke to colleagues about this story, what we are reading, and how some of the lessons that we learned are applicable to today and still will be applicable for future generations. We strongly believe if you read, you can have such great conversations, and if you want to have a conversation, drop in a line and we can really have a great chat. Hope that this inspires some of you to take up the reading on your own and you will enjoy. Don't rush. Take a source that is closer to a native language, ideally in Sanskritam, but most Indian languages have 50, 60, 70, 80% of Sanskritam words in them, so they will be able to convey the richness of the word, the emotion, the situation there, so you are able to really enjoy it more so than the English version. But start anywhere.
And this motivated us to start learning Sanskritam. Yeah. And hopefully we'll see that if we can read this in Sanskritam, so in that way you can really understand and enjoy not only the literature and how it is written, but it says it has the power in the Shabda Brahma, how it is being kind of narrated and written. So hopefully we may come with another series about Sanskrit, or we'll see how things goes. But I hope you all enjoyed the snippets and get the motivation to read Mahabharata as it is.
Thank you again, and thank you for so many great conversations that you all pinged and had, and thank you for your appreciation.
Thank you.
Namaste.